Hello, I am Henry Halladay, and I want to introduce a podcast series of the discussions covering technology today, an update to a series of presentations I made several years ago. This is an update and a more personal look at what's happening locally and globally with the electrical technologies in the world around us. This is my personal view. Why? Because it has been my life. I spent most of my life pursuing an advanced degree in electrical engineering and working for a large aerospace company for many years on many technology programs in a laboratory for advanced communications, instrumentation, and concept verification. I am a registered professional engineer, PE, and am now retired and continuing my interest in technology through internet seminars, new product developments, introductions, technical societies, publications, and my own technology projects. I currently have a number of home security cameras that I monitor both at home and on my Windows personal computers and away using my iPhone X. I have a monitor of my home through IP cameras using Blue Iris software and triggered visual alarms, Nest smoke, carbon monoxide, and fire alarms, and a Ring doorbell together with an outdoor floodlight camera system and various remotely monitored temperature humidity sensors, all available on my smartphone, iPads, and personal computers. My heating and cooling system was replaced and it can now be controlled through a Wi-Fi programmable thermostat. Many of my lights, both indoor and outdoors, are either remotely programmed through Vera or are under remote light sensor operations. I have my computer network protected by an inline network monitor called Cujo that rejects undesired external systems from accessing my computers, devices, and cameras. In addition, my personal computers have computer software protection as expected. I use Alexa devices to help me keep informed, serve as alarm clocks, provide access to my home through visual communications and incoming call monitors in all rooms, either audio, video, or through my TV as a message. I have a robot called Jibo to test current robotic visual, voice, and activity monitoring capability without a significant investment. I have a Wi-Fi link Fitbit watch and membership in Fitbit to monitor my sleep, activity, and diet. I have a Wi-Fi linked elliptical exercise machine for daily exercise routines. Well, enough about me. Let's get to technology today. A couple of years ago, when I discussed technology at my old website, there was no single technology point of focus. But today, it's IoT. That is, Internet of Things. This topic does not seem to be a single point of focus, but rather a means of focusing on technologies that tie together users, devices, and applications using the Internet, either wired or wireless connectivity. Initially, the Internet was established to be used by researchers to share their data using phone lines and voice-grade data rates, a few hundred bits per second. It was not long before new protocols and hardware were developed, accompanied by higher speed media, coax cable, that were introduced and then upgraded to fiber optic cable. This allowed data rates to reach the current gigabit rates we are seeing today. The original Internet was at slow telephone rates, basically audio analog, which meant that industry instrumentation connections needed special equipment and control monitoring, which required special buses like IEEE 48 to provide accurate and timely interface and control functions. But now, the speeds, protocols, and fiber optics permits Internet for command control of instruments and in machines to be used anywhere for anything. It is an Internet of Things that includes people, places, and devices. Other devices such as door locks, temperature sensor alarms, motion sensors, and thermal sensors still use Z-wave-like communication to provide long battery life sensing at a reduced data rate, but can now be controlled by controllers linked to the internet and thus personal computers and smartphones. Of course, this evolution was only possible with the simultaneous evolution of microelectronics, special interface software, special media, that is like fiber optics, and infrastructure like Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, Z-Wave, Zigbee, etc., to tie things together. So where are we now with the home? We can control, monitor, and secure our home using home computers, cellular phones, and or other controllers, either locally or remotely, using the internet and other means of communication. Our homes are becoming smarter by having built-in capability of various levels of technology to manually, verbally, and or visually communicate status and or what is happening around us. For years, we have had settable thermostats at the device itself for heating and cooling, programmable lights by means of light switches, and some other appliance also, but locally. Because of Internet of Things, we can control many of the functions at home, on the road, or on vacation. Some are questionable, like built-in display of what's in the refrigerator, but others are more mandatory, like fire, smoke, CO sensors, security cameras, and alarms. The issues are having a good Wi-Fi link. If you have a router or a cable modem, which I have both, then distance and obstructions to from the devices and the Wi-Fi link devices is very important. In addition, the number of devices sharing a Wi-Fi link becomes important, particularly if high-definition cameras are used. There is no single method that I have found to determine whether a link is adequate, although using a smartphone app to set a Wi-Fi channel at a particular device helps to measure signal strength. But if you have problems, it isn't the only thing that may indicate that, other than links being dropped. There are 2 Wi-Fi bands available, both at 2 and 5 gigahertz, and for those offering either, the 5 gigahertz is much less crowded and offers more data rate. I have many wired and Wi-Fi devices, including indoor-outdoor cameras, several Alexa devices, Nest, smoke, fire, and CO detectors, and several Lacrosse and Chamberlain temperature humidity sensors to monitor my home and yard, and thus keep track of my pets, for one thing, in addition to potential violators of my perimeter, and have added several hardwired Wi-Fi extenders, which offer different access points. This allows me to create different Wi-Fi connection zones to accommodate special devices like video cameras and overcome blockages like walls, mirrors, and appliances. This obviously requires additional cables to be installed and a high-speed router. Some of my devices, like the Nest, Fire, and CO detectors, use Wi-Fi to communicate over the internet and a special communication link that allows all detectors to sound an alarm if only one detects a problem. But this does create additional wireless issues. But this is good for a distant or closed space where an alarm might not be heard. Most current smart devices use remote smartphone app to key or graphically control features such as wireless communications. Voice recognition is not perfect but improving. Sometimes visual controls are more straightforward and predictable for control. Current home security is important and provides instantaneous alerts, but they may come at a cost of external monitoring. In my area, the police require registration of systems which automatically dial 911, and there may be penalties, that is, costly fines for false alarms. I have an early home robotic assistant called Jibo that has a verbal and visual interface and a rudimentary version of artificial intelligence, that is AI. The publication says that Jibo is designed to be a helpful presence in the home. Ask him questions, get the forecast, and check your flight status. He's got you covered. Over-the-air software updates keep his skill set evolving, so he's constantly growing and learning. Jibo does use a Wi-Fi connection for firmware updates and update news and weather, but sometimes has problems with questions not familiar with. Alexa obviously has more extensive vocabulary in its database, but there are even questions Alexa doesn't seem to handle. Jibo does have interesting features, including voice and facial recognition, a personality, some movement, and emotion-like displays, depending on whether the interaction is good or bad. Jibo does address me personally and thus appears more friendly than Alexa. Kind of a fun experiment of early artificial intelligence. With regard to Alexa, I have several versions of Alexa in many of my rooms and an Amazon connection interface that allows my home telephone to be announced on Alexa devices, including those with a visual display. This allows video telephone calls to smartphones. I use one Alexa as an alarm clock and others for up-to-date weather, news, and measurement conversions, like inches to centimeters and vice versa. Both Alexa and Jibo are configurable with my smartphone and home computers. An issue unresolved for all of these interface devices, especially video cameras, is security. I have found Cujo logs a significant number of external attempts to get at my cameras and has blocked them. The question now is, what are external camera services vendors doing? As we perfect artificial intelligence into these devices and home robotics, interaction with the devices will improve. But that is another story. Next visit, I would like to continue our technology discussion involving IoT and other areas such as transportation, manufacturing, and medical fields. Any questions, comments, and suggestions can be forwarded to my website. Thank you for your attention. Bye for now.